Oh, really? You just wanted to use my hand like a pillow? Well, now my hand doesn't really bend that way.
Sarah Baker, who lives in Round Rock, Texas, is a mother of two. In addition to giving birth to her own daughters, she also gave birth to a Chinese baby boy, Heng Taolu, 3 years ago. Baker and her biological daughters call him Baby James. She carried the baby for a Chinese couple as a surrogate mother. For Baker, being a surrogate mother means a lot.
It means giving someone else the gift of family and being a really special part of that, and getting to experience their joy. It's pretty amazing. There isn't anything else like it.
For aspiring parents who cannot conceive or carry a baby to term, surrogacy is an option. The most common practice of surrogacy in the United States is gestational surrogacy.
For gestational surrogacy, the woman will be receiving an embryo. So the intended couple or the intended parent will generate embryos.
Baker said the reason why she decided to be a surrogate was because her own family is complete.
I wasn't really looking for anything in particular. I kind of have a bleeding heart, and when I hear that someone else is hurting and it's something that I can help with, then I'm happy to help.
The baby she gave birth to is the first baby of a Chinese couple in Guangzhou who didn't want to have children until they established their own business. The couple in their 50s used an egg donor because the Chinese mother's eggs were no longer viable. 4 years ago, Baker was matched and signed a contract with a Chinese couple through Extraordinary Conceptions, a surrogacy agency in California. Through the whole journey, Baker and the Chinese couple shared the joy and excitement together.
But anytime I was allowed to take video, I took video in an appointment, especially in the beginning when there were so many ultrasounds. I would take a picture of the ultrasound monitor so they could see everything that was happening, and then I would save it and I would send it through WeChat. And I would share that excitement with them so then they could get excited over, he's doing karate moves all night long.
While Baker's previous deliveries were smooth and uncomplicated, the delivery of the Chinese baby was difficult. Her husband was with her at the time of the delivery.
He got stuck. After 11 and a half hours of an induced labor without any pain medication, I had to finally ask my doctor for an epidural.
The baby's biological mother and aunt waited outside the labor room until he was born. It was December 17, 2015. The baby weighed 8 pounds, and the Chinese mother was happy because 8 is a lucky number in Chinese culture.
The one that can't be topped for happy was when the mom came in the delivery room and saw the baby for the first time, and she just kept saying thank you over and over again. And it was almost like having a high on life. It was just the most amazing thing to witness, and to just see that instant joy and love and watch them bond. It was really precious.
Through this surrogate pregnancy, Baker's husband and the biological children supported her wholeheartedly.
My role when she's pregnant, regardless of whether it's our baby or not, is the same, right? I have to be there to be her support and make sure that I'm helping take care of her, and so that the baby stays healthy. So from that aspect, it was the same, But
did you think I was crazy?
Well, pregnancy hormones can definitely get crazy.
No, I mean from wanting to do it in the first place.
Oh, I never thought you were crazy. I've always known that you have a huge heart.
You better not think I'm crazy when I'm pregnant.
Baker's daughters, Jasmine and Rose, were 4 and 2 years old when they saw their mother pregnant with another couple's child.
A lot of people would always ask, well, how do your children feel about this? And do they understand? And I said, they understand better than most adults do. So we had some books that are geared towards elementary age to teach them about surrogacy. And one has a koala and one has a kangaroo. So it's kind of like, we're putting it in the pouch and then giving it back. And they've also understood, that families can be formed many different ways.
Alia Gusiva, a sociology professor at Boston University, studying commercial surrogacy, said there are some moral challenges to surrogacy.
I mean, there's a lot of arguments against exploitation of surrogates, and that certainly came up a lot when surrogacy commissioned by parents coming from wealthy Western countries would hire women in developing countries. In Europe, I think most of the arguments against surrogacy are from the standpoint of commodifying a female body.
However, Professor Gusiva said, in the U.S., the narrative of surrogacy is more positive.
In the U.S., surrogates have the privilege or the luxury of actually claiming that this is a happy sort of experience. It's an emotional kind of labor of love.
Like the Chinese couple that the baker helped, Mrs. Ren, living in Hangzhou, China, contacted Circle Surrogacy, an agency in Boston 3 years ago, and found a surrogate mother in West Virginia. There are reasons for her to do so.
当时是因为我自己前面国内前面有一个小孩嘛，老大的话是剖腹产的。剖腹产的话就是那个子宫是瘢痕性子宫。然后考虑到就是如果说怀孕的话，有可能就是说胚胎如果是刚好在这个疤痕上的话，子宫会撑破，会一个容易宫外孕，然后还可以就容易这样大出血，就是也比较危险嘛。
It was not just a C-section that made Mrs. Ren want to have someone else carry her baby. In 2014, the Chinese government abolished the one-child policy. So the demand for both domestic and international surrogacy has increased, as parents beyond the childbearing age want a second child.
因为一开始不是国内不是计划生育嘛，然后前面那个话就是也一直就没有生，等到可以生的时候，也就年龄上本身也是有点大了。那然后这方面考虑起来，后来我就想想还是去那个吧，就还是去代孕吧。
During the past few years, there's a growing number of Chinese citizens, including married couples, single men, and gay partners, coming to the U.S. for surrogacy, because in China, surrogacy is in a legal gray zone. In 2001, the Chinese government banned medical institutions and personnel from practicing any form of surrogacy technology. But the private clinics and agencies in China continue providing surrogacy services on the black market, which is unregulated and considered unsafe.
一方面就觉得，毕竟合法的各方面都有保障，然后对孩子就是也是一个就是说有比较好的交代，对吧？
John Weltman is the founder of Circle Surrogacy, one of the largest surrogacy agencies in the U.S.
The majority of our work has become international. I would say China is certainly one of our top 3 places that we have, and at one point was definitely number 1. We've been working with people who are mainland Chinese from all over the world for well over a dozen years. We have been working for people who are living in mainland China for only 4 or 5.
While there's no complete data on how many Chinese citizens have traveled to the U.S. for surrogacy, agencies like Circle Surrogacy have seen the influx of Chinese clients. Since 2013, Circle Surrogacy has worked with 73 Chinese intended parents with medical reasons. From 2015 to 2018, 49 Chinese babies were born through surrogacy. This is just data from one agency. There are many agencies in this country serving Chinese clients.
然后也考虑到嘛，就是倒是可以入籍美国，这各方面原因考虑， 很多还是会选择就是去美国。
They want to get American citizenship for their children and then travel documents to get back home. People worry about the future in China, and that it is nice to be able to have that option for their children to have and always be able to come here.
Now, how ridiculous would the only...
President Trump said he was preparing executive order to ban birthright citizenship, but the agency founder believed that citizenship is not the principal reason these Chinese couples pursue surrogate mothers in the U.S. For the vast majority of Chinese citizens, surrogacy in the U.S. is not cheap. According to Circle Surrogacy, a surrogacy can last between 14 and 18 months and cost from $114,000 to $120,000, and a surrogate will receive more than $35,000. However, compensation varies by state and agency. In Baker's case, she received about $30,000. Also, the Chinese couple paid part of her medical expenses and other expenses such as maternity clothes.
And I said that I wanted to have a continuous relationship through the pregnancy and afterwards, because to me it's not a business transaction. One person broke it down to an hourly wage. It equates to about 17 cents an hour.
Surrogacy is not without risks. According to John Petrosa, a gynecologist at the Massachusetts General Hospital, the biggest risk for the surrogate is multiple pregnancies, which could result from multiple embryos transferred from the older intended parents. And there are other risks.
So if you have a 30-year-old carrier, but the intended mother is 42, then there's all the risks that any 42-year-old woman who's pregnant would have to be aware of. You know, what's the risk of Down syndrome? What's the risk of miscarrying? What's the risk of having a birth defect? And then you also have to deal with the risk of the carrier. You know, is she healthy? Are there any things in her family that would predispose that pregnancy to be a little bit more risky because of that family history?
In addition, there are sometimes emotional challenges with any pregnancy. Baker got postpartum depression after the delivery of the Chinese baby.
And there wasn't enough support in place to help me through that. So I was kind of on my own financially and emotionally at that point. I thankfully have a really strong support system here, and I found an amazing therapist who did wonders, and she helped me a lot. And I also was on anti-anxiety medication for about a year.
Carrying a pregnancy is tough. And yes, they get paid, and these gestational carriers get paid very well. But it's a risky proposition. I mean, these are often young women who have families of their own. They're often married. So you don't know the potential complications and risks that can develop and how that would impact her family. And so it's a big thing to do.
Sarah Baker's relationship with a Chinese couple has continued over the years. They always send each other messages on major Chinese and American holidays.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really thankful that I was able to do it, and we gained that relationship on top of it. And I kind of describe myself as the cool aunt. So I feel like I've added to my family.